You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he has lived.
You can close your eyes and pray that he'll come back, or you can open your eyes and see all he has left.
Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of love that you shared.
You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday.
You can remember him and only that he's gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on.
You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you could do what he'd want. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on.
After hearing that hymn, you'll probably realize that my father has a lot of influence over this service. He's been writing this for the past 12 or so years. So we'll start with the rules. Good, you understand the rules. Because it's no tears, only laughter. Death is a part of life. Everyone will experience it. Live every day as though it is your last, and someday you won't be disappointed.
All right. Okay. So, sir in the back row, can you hear me? Good, because that means everybody else can. That was another John Kittellism. Yeah. All right. So he's left us some words for us to read to you. So we're going to do that. So I was born at an early age and extremely fortunate that I was a WASP.
I was born a wasp.
A wasp. In the U.S. of A. Especially Middle America, Minnesota, to middle-class, functional parents. No divorce, both college-educated and churched. My father was a car and truck salesman and a leader, senior warden of a New Mission Episcopal Church, a Boy Scout executive, a school board, and a mayor of his town. My mother was a stay-at-home homemaker, the toughest jobs of all.
I was fortunate to be smarter than the average bear. Richfield, Minnesota High School, salutatorian of 1957, and Bachelor of Metallurgy degree, U of Minnesota, 62. I graduated second in my class from either end.
I was fortunate to be a student at Minnesota when the Gophers were the 1960 NCAA champions in football and went to the Rose Bowl for the first time. I was there. Unfortunately, the Gophers lost to the University of Washington Huskies. Where I have lived most of my life. The Huskies think that they were the national champs 'cause they beat the Gophers, but it ain't so. Check the record books. The Gophers were good when I was born and again when I was a student. Now they can be good again.
I was fortunate to earn a commission in the United States Navy, engineering duty, and gain the rank of captain, ED. Gain the rank of captain. ED.
Wait, those are all capitals too.
Yeah.
C-A-P-T.
C-A-P-T.
He let me know when I was a captain in the Air Force that I had lowercase captain.
So ED was a proud title until Bob Dole and Viagra came along. I retired after 39 and a half years active duty and reserve, achieving time in grades and total service that is impossible today. I had hoped to make it to 40 years. The Navy didn't get me, Congress did. And you thought they were inept.
I was fortunate to have two wonderful sons, Robert and John. Neither spent any time in jail. So we parents must have done good. I called one the good son and the other the bad son. They know why, and they also know that it was BS. I loved them both equally. They both married well, Heather and Barb, and I told both of them that if they ever had any marital problems, which some of them might have, that I would side with their wives. Their children, Brooke, Drew, and Allie, have been a delight in my life.
I was fortunate to be a triple dipper in retirement, and all from the company that prints its own money: Social Security, Federal Civil Service, and Navy. My monthly discretionary funds were enough to keep a small country in operation. Gosh, he didn't lack tact, did he? It gets better. And I never had to dip into savings except for big purchases, like vacation cruises, trucks, or lake docks. And speaking of trucks, I loved my $1 million truck. 1932 Ford pickup, only $140,000 in 38 months between 2006 and 2009. Women don't understand that, and I doubt Valerie would have permitted it. You can finish.
All right, to wrap this up, I credit all the fortunates to my God. Not everything had a plus sign in front of it. Nobody does. I lost my soulmate, Valerie, way too early, age 56, November 2001, from lupus. We were married July 1st, 1967. That was 34 and a half years. I was fired 4 times. Hard to believe it, I know. Hopefully my boys can better that record, as in fewer. I'm there. I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
And cancer.
I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, a blood cancer of plasma cells, in 1996. I had no symptoms, so I might have contracted it years earlier. It was discovered from a simple blood test. The treatment was worse than the disease. My cause theory was sniffing gasoline vapors in the old truck for 5 hours a week for years. It was my commuter vehicle. The worst collateral damage occurred on Christmas 2010 with a hematoma, internal bleed, that compressed the femoral nerve, thank you, controlling the quad muscle in my left leg. The hematoma came from a blood thinner prescribed for heart AFib, which came from chemo during a stem cell transplant in November 2010. Again, it could have been worse. I was able to drive and do my usual tasks, half-fast. The leg didn't like uneven surfaces going down. I would go down. My best trump cards with my disease were attitude, friends and family, kayak, until legs, and woodpile.
Personal traits: an overactive sense of humor, mostly on the shady side. I had obsessive compulsive behavior, not disorder, bordering on anal. Can we say that in this?
Yeah. Okay. It's a scientific term.
Okay. I freely admit it, and I didn't badmouth people who weren't. I prided myself on being a simple person. I knew that because I overheard people talking behind my back. I loved cutting trees down and up, splitting, stacking, and burning wood to heat my house. I also loved my $19 to $37 a month gas bills. I apologize for all the air pollution that I caused. Not. I lived in Washington State, where the skies were rinsed of pollution almost every day during the burning season.
I was an athlete in my day, 9 marathons between 3 hours and 5 minutes and 3 hours and 30 minutes. Then I got a hip replacement, so I recommend stopping at 8. Mount Rainier, 5 out of 6 attempts. Weather. Many mountains and Olympics and Cascades. Seattle to Portland bike ride, which is 200 miles in 2 days. He did that 10 times, but all downhill, right? Rag Bry, the Bry is the bike ride across Iowa, 3 times. He kayaked around Kitsap Peninsula, 150 miles, 2 times. Kayaked around Whidbey Island, 100 miles. And kayaked from Olympia, Washington, the southern end of Puget Sound, to Port Hardy, north end of Vancouver Island, in sections. I also went back to the Midwest to paddle for a week with 80 to 100 other canoe and kayaks in the Great River Rumble, 6 years, usually on the Mississippi or ending on the Mississippi.
One of my more noteworthy accomplishments was single-handedly building a road through the woods behind the Gull Lake property in Minnesota as a teenager that is now on GPS maps.
Just keep going. Now we have some PSs. PS 1, for my 2nd grade report card, in quotes, John has trouble on the playground. He is continually being reported for playing rough and annoying others. In small groups for classwork, he is also reported as not helping. End quote. That explains a lot of things. You can do the last 2.
PS2, yes, I still believe that God was married to Mother Nature. And it cannot be refuted by the Bible. PS number 3, confession time. I have been a closet Episcopalian ever since July 1st, 1967.
So the words you just read were our dad's, and we read them according to his wishes. That he would pre-plan his memorial service was totally in character for a man as organized and dedicated to doing things his own way as our dad was. But in going through the binder of information he'd prepared for us, we noticed that everything seems to cut off around 2014. And we realized that is when his beloved partner, Jerry, breaking the rules, entered his life.
Perhaps he was no longer thinking of the end, but rather this new beginning with her. We have come to know and love Jerry over the years, and we will be forever grateful that her presence in his life let him enjoy his final years with love and companionship. They spent many days cheering on the Seahawks and the Vikings, and of course the Golden Gophers. They took trips back to Minnesota together and explored Washington too. They were together for dinners with friends and holidays and family. She cared for him with patience and grace. Because of her, he was able to move to the next world, just as he had hoped, peacefully at home. So, thank you, Jerry.